Hi, everyone. Thank you for downloading and listening and sharing this episode of Critical Hit with a Friend. I'm Steven Schleicher, and I want to remind you that we are 1 week away from Rodrigo Lopez's book, his first book release, The Tale of Tallest Rabbit. Rodrigo is here once again. Rodrigo, are you getting nervous?
No. I'm excited for people to see it, I think.
What is Tale of Tallest Rabbit? It says here it's a collection of magical, unusual, exciting short stories.
It is. Basically, it's the story of Tallest Rabbit and her journey through this magical land, and kind of the currency of this world is stories. So in order to get around, you have to either tell a story or get someone else to tell a story for you. So there's a lot of kind of smaller vignettes of what happens in this magical world that you get through the adventures of Tallest Rabbit.
It's a fairly short book. It's a very quick read, but this is something that's for all ages.
It is. I would say reading level, you want kids who are 8 and up, but you can read, if you're an adult, you can read this book to very young children. There's nothing, risque or anything like that about it. This is an all ages book.
Excellent. Now, what we're asking all of our listeners to do, and we're hoping that you'll get behind this and move Rodrigo to number 1. We want you to go out and buy The Tale of Tallest Rabbit by Rodrigo Lopez on January 12th, 2016. That's just like in a couple of days. If you don't already have it on your calendar, mark it on your calendar now. Go out and buy this book on January 12th, 2016. And what happens is Amazon takes a tabulation of all the books that are sold that day and then ranks them. And so we could, on January 12th, if we can get all of you to go out there and buy the book at Amazon.com, it will skyrocket Rodrigo to a very high position on the list. It will get more people to notice the book, people who are not listening to this podcast. It will encourage them to buy the book. And most of all, publishers will start to take notice. And if you like the stories that Rodrigo has been telling us all these years, maybe a publisher will come up and say, Rodrigo, we would like you to write more books.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do people need to do, Rodrigo?
People need to go to Amazon. Preferably through the Major Spoilers link. That way, everybody gets a little bit extra there. And then just look up The Tale of Tallest Rabbit on January 12th.
Yep, buy it. Don't pre-order it. Buy it on that day, because what happens is if you pre-order, those sales don't add to the total. So buy it on January 12th. Tale of Tallest Rabbit. Oh, thank you, listeners, for your support. And Rodrigo, we cannot wait for launch date.
Yeah.
This episode is brought to you by Major Spoilers VIP members. Thank you for your support of Major Spoilers and the Major Spoilers Podcast Network. If you would like to become a bronze, silver, or gold VIP member, go to members.majorspoilers.com for more information.
Welcome to Critical Hit, a Major Spoilers podcast. Thank you so much for downloading, listening, and sharing this episode with a friend. Last couple of episodes were big battle fights.
Yeah.
But we won.
Yeah.
Woo! And now we got to take care of this Gibkin guy.
Woo. Yeah.
I guess. Rodrigo?
All right. So last time
On Critical Hit.
Critical Hit.
Hit.
So yes, last time on Critical Hit, you
On Critical
guys, yes,
Don't
that
say
show.
the trigger.
Last time on that show, you
Say the secret word, we scream.
kind of jumped into a fight as trying to help some of Sakar's former party members, and got involved in what turned out to be a literal magic firefight and also thunder fight.
Yes.
With the added difficulty of having a raging, spinning tornado of fury to contend with, which was not really pulling any punches in any direction. So,
Way to go, Gibkin.
verily, both sides tasted the sting of Gibkin's blade. Or sonic booms, or whatever.
Sonic Blade.
Yes. So you guys are going to get, here as we move forward, you guys are going to get a little bit of a short rest. So why don't you tell me what healing surges you're spending? Let's start with Sam.
I will be spending 3 healing surges.
Okay. Anything else?
Nope, I'm still not at full, but that'll do me for now.
Steven.
I will spend 1 healing surge, which will also get me close enough to full.
Okay. Brian?
I will spend 3. That'll get me 4 shy of full. So how much does healing surges does Sakar and Ket have?
I have 9.
I also have 9 after I spend the 2 to get me most of the way to full.
Okay.
Yeah,
is Sakar spending any?
No, the ones that I spend in combat have got me close enough to fine.
Okay.
Wow, you guys have so many more healing surges than me.
I will take
It helps that Con is my
Ket
primary.
and 1 from Sakar, I guess.
Or so it's like my dump
Alright.
stat.
Okay, so 2 from Ket and 1 from Sakar?
Yep.
Okay.
Excuse me, I have 8, so if you take 1, that will leave me with 7, because I used 1 in the thing.
Okay, 2
So,
from
yes.
Ket, 1 from Sakar then.
Yeah, it just puts us both at 7 then.
That's all 3 of us, is it?
We're like the
Orem
7
at
musketeers.
6. And Sparkle at 0.
Whoa.
No,
Okay.
I have no idea.
All right.
Like, I haven't memorized
I
your
have
stats
2
yet.
healing surges left.
Okay.
Well, we don't have any sneak attack damage, so it all balances out.
Okay.
I suppose. Yeah.
No, it's true. Some of you literally hit the enemies with your constitution, so that's kind of how things roll. In any case, so yes, you are standing in a figurative abattoir. Basically, you're surrounded by crushed, maimed, and on-fired cultists. And one dragonborn that is whose spin of rage begins to slow down until he finally comes to a stop. Looks at Sakar and says, "What are you doing back?"
It looked like you needed some assistance.
We may have. He takes his sword and digs it into the ground. Just, basically takes it up and just stabs it into the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And says, "Well, I'm glad something," and then just falls backwards. Passes out.
Is he going to be okay?
I'm going to check him. Does he hit the ground?
You could have been close enough to catch him.
I'm going to try to catch him.
Okay, you catch him. You had forgotten how heavy, this basically boiler of muscle and bones is, but you can lift him.
Yeah. All right.
If you want to throw his arm over your shoulder, it's definitely not a problem.
Yeah. Is he unconscious?
Yep.
Warden Duthane,
Yes, sir.
can you assist?
Yeah, absolutely.
So is the force field still up?
It is, but it begins to ripple. And those of you with any sort of arcane inclination can see that it's coming down, but basically it'll probably take a minute because of the sheer amount of, the sheer size of it means that this isn't something you just stop. You kind of have to, ramp it back down.
And this was to keep them out, right?
To keep the Don Estes
heirs.
out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does he normally black out like that after exerting himself?
Normal is not the word. It can happen. It has happened.
Maybe he needs a cookie. Orm reaches into his bag and pulls out some rations.
Okay. You hold him in front of him?
Yep.
He does, actively sniff them, but he's not really conscious.
I'll just set this right here.
Okay.
Can Randus do a Randus thing?
Can I heal the guy?
Sure. Give me a heal check.
All right.
I think we may want to let him down into a lower position because he is heavy.
Fair
Yeah.
enough.
I think, do we need to get his feet propped up or anything like that?
No, I don't believe so.
I think channeling that much energy probably just wiped him out.
I'm sure.
If we lower him to a seated position,
Doesn't look to have many wounds.
32 on that heal check.
Okay, so you guys lay him down, and Randus comes over and checks him over. And I mean, this is a healthy boy. Like there's nothing wrong with him. He's just exhausted. So Randus just kind of like, kind of checks his like neck and stuff, and in the process, he doesn't need to use any like actual medicine or anything. He can just kind of like, like press his neck a little bit, press like his chest a little bit, and kind of try to bring him to, at which point, he's like laying there with his eyes closed, and like one of his eyes just like opens really suddenly, and he like makes a grab for Randus.
Ah. Well, hey, settle down there, guy. Hey.
Oh.
You okay?
Right. Sorry, I didn't recognize you. Probably because I don't know who you are. And he like sits up, and then kind of extends his arms out, like bends his knees, and just stands himself up.
Hi, I'm Randus Duthane, fellow companion of Sakar here.
He's like scratches his chest a little bit. Oh, nice to meet you, guy.
You too.
Yeah, walks back over to his sword and picks it up out of the ground and like sheaths it behind his back. So, you guys just stop introducing yourselves. I'm just not in a state to remember it right now anyway.
Fair enough.
No problem.
I see you've been recruiting.
We have, yeah. After Frog died and you left, we just couldn't really hold the island. So we went on a recruiting drive, and honestly, I think maybe we were too loud about it. I think that's why these guys managed to find us.
You have a wizard now?
We do. You'll meet him. He's great. And the force field finally dissipates.
Do we anticipate any more unexpected visitors that are not friendly?
I don't think so. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have taken this down. Or I guess they could be inside and killed everyone. But I was under the impression that the force field would shatter if it was forcibly taken down. So
seems like a reasonable expectation.
Anyway, I'm going inside. And he just kind of starts walking into the temple.
May we accompany you?
Oh, yes, please.
All right.
Yeah. So, yeah, this guy is like really big, broad shoulders. One of those, he's got the musculature that, he kind of can't help but kind of have like a little bit of a swagger just because like his chest gets in the way of his walking. Again, Dragonborn don't have tails, so just for the mental image. So you guys walk into the temple. It is this big white stone temple, kind of circular patterns, kind of like basically built on top of each other so that platforms overlap and everything. The inside is pretty open, and there seems to be a back room, but right at the center of it, you spot two people. One of them is Amiri, who you've seen before. You helped her charge up the hill, She's, I believe we said a brunette, has light skin and wears kind of a leather armor. And next to her is a tiefling. He has bright red skin, black horns that kind of come up front and curve back pretty sharply so that the points are actually pointing behind him. He's got a long tail that actually ends in a black little kind of arrow tip. He is wearing some bright, like emerald green robes, and his robes have like one of his shoulders exposed. And they're both kind of like standing up from a kneeling position, which they were probably in some kind of like ritual thing to keep the force field up. They both look pretty tired, but when they look over and see that Gipkin's okay, the tiefling smiles broadly, and Amiri just runs over and throws herself on him, and her arms around his neck, and gives him a big hug, and then drops back down because she kind of had to jump to do it. And he pats her on the shoulder a little bit and says, that happened at exactly the right moment, because a few minutes earlier I would have just fallen over. Amiri turns to the rest of you guys and says, thank you for all your help.
Yeah, no problem.
You guys probably want to get some rest. Why don't we go into the back of the temple and just sit down for a little while?
Agreed. There are some things we need to speak of.
I'm sure. She leads you guys to another room in the temple. It is wide. There are several tables there. And in that room is that young woman that you saw earlier, kind of a fighter type, long braid, armor, flail, which she's kind of propped or like sat down at a table, and she's just sitting there, like just taking some time. And just the rest of them kind of sit around that table, and the tables are pretty broad, so there's plenty of room for everybody.
Okay, sit down.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer to stand.
I'll take a seat.
So Amir looks around and says, well, so once again, thank you for your help. We are the adventuring company known as the Parliament of Steel. We used to count Sakar as one of our number. And what you guys just took part in is the latest attempt at getting to this very powerful artifact that we've gotten our hands on and have actually been working to protect for several years now.
That's actually why we're here.
Oh?
Yes, Sakar first turns to the tiefling and extends his hand. I don't believe we've met.
Oh, we haven't. And he just holds out his hand, but the fingers are pointing down, instead of where your thumb is pointing towards the ceiling, it's sideways, and he just kind of gives you this little thing, kind of for you to grab his fingers, you know what I'm talking about? That kind of thing.
All right.
And he's I'm Green Magnifico.
Sakar Oblia.
Good to meet you. I've heard a lot about you.
I imagine you have.
Oh, yeah. Used to be these guys wouldn't shut up about you.
I have that effect on people. It's nice to meet you. You do very impressive work.
Oh, you don't know the half of it.
I'm sure I don't.
So, who are you guys?
Hello, I'm Orem Rivendorn. I'm here because I wanted to check on my friends, and somehow I got wrapped up in this adventure.
Mm-hmm.
I am Ket Hazard. I'm one of the friends he was checking on, I think.
Sure, let's say that.
Also wrapped up in this adventure, and I'd like to actually get on with said adventure as soon as possible.
Yeah. You can call me Little Sparkle, and I'm in pretty much the same boat as Ket.
I see.
And I would be Randus Duthane. Yeah, basically we're all together trying to save some worlds.
Wait, Randus Duthane?
Yeah.
Lord Randus Duthane?
Yeah.
Wow. It just seems we're accumulating royalty.
I suppose.
In any case, Warden Duthane and I encountered some of his former associates.
Mm-hmm.
We were actually transported entirely off this plane, and we were returned here, or near here, and I had hoped that possibly you might be able to assist us in returning to Coldport in a manner that would be quicker than riding an eagle for 4 or 5 days.
Green Magnifico goes to say something, and Gibkin just gives a loud snort.
Something you need to say?
No, I'm just glad to hear you're going to be on your way.
I had hoped that we might avail your assistance in teleportation.
Well, you're in luck. That's one of Green's specialties. And Gibkin stands up and just walks off.
Sakaar rubs the bridge of his nose in a very obviously irritated manner, and then stops, catching himself being irritated.
So you
A
can
little
get
bit
us
of a bad blood there? Oh, sorry.
No.
So you can get us to Coldport?
Green looks over at the rest of them. Yeah, actually, it's interesting that you want to go to Coldport.
Why is that?
Well, we have this relic that allows us to teleport back and forth from this island. Usually to the last, or always to the last place that we went to. So from the island to a location, and then if we move and teleport back to the island, we'll end up at the last location that we were at before teleporting. Does that make sense?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And
However,
the last place you were was near Coldport?
It was in Coldport. We were investigating the recent movements of the Hatchet Gang into Coldport.
Oh, yeah, we ran into those guys.
Yeah, they moved right into us.
Yes, well, I'm sorry about that. We determined that Lockfin Sano had largely decided to expand rather than necessarily continue wasting resources chasing after us, so we let them be. So I suppose I'm sorry we let them hatchet at you.
We took care of them.
Yeah, it wasn't too much of a bother.
The helmet this artifact that we have. Usually you need to hold it, but I've been tinkering with it, and I believe it'll allow us to teleport without you guys having to keep it, or without having to take one of us with you and then come back. So that should be helpful in that sense. We do have problems in that, now that the location of the island is known, we're going to have to move, I think, or something else. We haven't had time to discuss it on account of having been in the middle of a fight most of the time that we knew.
You move islands frequently?
No, we've been in this island the Parliament has been in this island for almost a decade.
Ah, okay. And where were you at before then?
Well, I wasn't with them.
Oh.
Emiri says, out adventuring. This island is part of Don Este's legend, so we came across it. It's the only place where the original lament can be purified.
The original what?
Lament. Sakar, you didn't tell him about any of this?
He really hasn't shared a lot about himself.
We were somewhat preoccupied with the heirs. The helm is not the only mystic artifact. The collection of artifacts, Don Este's Lament, is essentially the reason why they've been attacking. It's what they believe to be their inheritance, because they are extremist loons. But nonetheless, yes, there's more than one of the artifacts. This is the place where those artifacts can be purified of the curse.
What curse?
The curse, I suppose. They were cursed.
They were cursed artifacts. They were cursed as a set.
So the artifacts together are...
No. Well, yes, but no.
Sort of. It's complicated. She was a very pure, heroic person, and the malicious intent of using her artifacts basically turned them into these very punitive relics, if that makes any sense. So they have to be brought here, purified, and basically we haven't touched them because honestly, despite all the reading and research we've done, we're not entirely sure what exactly Don Este's purity entailed. So other than the helmet, which is pretty straightforward and cannot really be used as a weapon, a lot of the other weapons can. So we haven't used them because we think if we use them without, whatever Don Este's considered to be purity, they'll just get contaminated again.
And what do you want to do with these once they're pure?
The main point is to keep them out of the hands of the heirs and others of their ilk.
And so you're just going to keep them locked away?
We have been so far, yes.
Ah, okay. So it really doesn't matter if you purify them or not.
Well, it does in the sense that they might, blight any amount of arable land or call out to people with bad intentions or do any number of creepy things.
But you've been purifying them as you retrieve them, correct?
Correct. But of course, that leads you with the
heirs
question.
want to do with them?
Use them.
Use the curse, the power of the curse, to consolidate their own power base, to overthrow Diamond Throne, to take over the material plane. It varies from person to person. They are not clear of goal other than mine.
And they do change leadership fairly often.
All right.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Well, is there anything else we can do to help you before you send us on our way?
They kind of look at each other. Well, I don't know. I don't know what you guys are capable of. I'm sure we could potentially think of something, but nothing immediately comes to mind.
Given enough time, I don't think there's anything these two aren't capable of. Indicating Orm and Randus.
Oh, well, that's nice. That's a vote of confidence.
But
Like, Green leans over to Amir and says, "These guys are friends."
But I do have a proposition. You need to relocate now, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's... The helmet's currently going to take anybody that you teleport to Coldport, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Why not relocate to Coldport? There's a district there that could use the serious assistance of a high adventuring party such as yourselves. And it's far enough away from where we are now that the heirs are probably unlikely to detect you anytime soon.
Coldport is a city. I mean, we're talking about the sort of collateral damage that we're not really comfortable with.
Makes sense.
People come after these relics. We've been hiding them this whole time. We pried them off the hands of very bad people, and we didn't manage to kill all of them.
If it's so bad, why not just destroy it?
Green
Do you think
Magnifico, just smiles so broadly. Emiri, waves, shushes him, even though he didn't actually say anything. They're, as far as we know, indestructible. And I believe, actually, some of the first cursed people we encountered that had them in their possession were people who originally tried to destroy them. So that act of destruction is in part what unleashes some of the curses. Because actually each piece is a piece of armor or part of her panoply. And each one of them kind of has its own personality and things it doesn't like.
Oh, yeah, I kind of know what you're talking about.
What was the effect of the curse?
It depends on the item. The real problem with the curse is that it tends to also create a lot of collateral damage, but doesn't really hinder the person who is being cursed other than it affects their mind. So, say if you wore her armor and did bad things, it wouldn't stop protecting you. In fact, it would make you very powerful, but it basically would turn you evil, make other people turn evil, make other people turn into strange creatures and things like that.
And Dinestes put these curse on these herself?
No, we think that she was just too pure for this world and it caused some kind of problem.
Okay.
It's like somebody being so, let's say, powerful. It's like someone is so powerful that it warps the world around them.
Oh, yeah, we've dealt with those kind of people.
Right. Donestes was so powerful in her purity, which, again, we haven't quite figured out what that exactly entails, that she warped the world around her. She made the world a better place, and when she left, it sort of created this hole in the fabric of reality, if you will.
Mm.
And it wraps itself around
How
this
long ago
item.
did she live?
At least 1,000 years, I want to say. These items have been hidden in circulation. People have been killing each other over them for a long time.
Interesting.
Well, a noble cause.
1,000 years or more.
Right. We think so. It's kind of consumed our lives, really. We are not necessarily... I mean, okay, so, for example, and don't take this the wrong way, Sakar left because he had other things he needed to do. He needed to save the world in a different way, and it's very difficult, but Xanthippe and Green really have stepped up. There are people who really want to help and who recognize the danger of these items. And Green leans over to Sakar and points at the two ladies and says, "We're friends."
I see. I would not have left if there were any other choice.
I'm not the one you need to convince that of.
And on that note, I believe I might have some convincing to do, if you'll excuse me for a moment.
Okay.
Of course.
Let's get you guys something to eat.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
That
Sounds
sounds great.
All right. So we'll follow Sakar out to the back of the temple, where Gipkin is sitting at the base of a tree meditating. He's got his sword over on his lap.
Once again, it seems I have arrived just in time.
Yep, you have a knack of doing that. You arrive just in time, right when we need you, and you leave right when we need you.
You know that there was no other choice.
I know you say you had no other choice.
Sometimes the needs of the many must outweigh the needs of the few, and you know that.
That's all fine, but I know I've heard that before. It's very easy to fall back on philosophy. You and I have carried it around our whole lives. You don't get to be a keeper or a reaper without getting knee deep, ankle deep, or neck deep in philosophy, but that's not what matters. What matters is what you actually do.
And what I actually did was make a calculated decision. What good would it be to protect these items if the entire plane were destroyed?
Well, what good would be a blighted plane?
I knew that you would protect them. You know that I had no choice.
Well, I guess I appreciate the vote of confidence, but... And he, opens his eyes and just looks right at him. There were a few times there where we could have really used you.
And I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. Honestly, and he stands up and kind of puts his sword on his shoulder. Honestly, I have a real problem that I really need to take care of my friends, and if you're not around, I can't take care of you. And worse still, if you're not there to take care of Emiri, and I'm not there because I need to do something, then who's going to take care of her?
The threat we faced was a threat to the entire world. I would not have left you. I would not have left Emira. I would not have left Frog if there were a choice.
You know, she says that you left to save the world and I stayed to save the world. But what I have always told her is that you left because you didn't want this responsibility anymore. And I stayed because I didn't want that responsibility anymore. And he kind of motions to the tree. And maybe we're both right.
I think we're both right and we're both wrong. And that's the reason why we continue to have this discussion. Although I do appreciate that this time we're doing it with our swords sheathed.
Well, it sounds like you guys are in a real hurry, so I don't think this conflict is going to escalate. Not is it really convenient. I think we're going to have to start looking for a new home, which is going to make at least one dragon very happy.
Oh.
It's okay. Honestly, I'm pretty sure it's getting to the point where Otaskos is hitting puberty, which makes him a lot harder to deal with. Not just because of the puberty, but because he's also becoming a lot stronger.
Agreed. He was enough of a problem as a child.
In any case, all of these things are true simultaneously. You know this. You know the truth of the universe. You know that everything is everything at the same time. That is what we've always been taught.
Yes.
You left me, and you left for a good reason. I stayed, I abandoned you, and I stayed for a good reason, all at the same time. It's just difficult to deal with.
Maybe we don't need to deal with it.
We're going to have to deal with it eventually.
Perhaps. Perhaps not today. Perhaps in the future, you and I can come back and find the dragon and show him exactly why crossing swords with the Parliament of Steel was the problem. And perhaps we won't. I mean, the spirits tell us where we go and they tell us what we need to do. But most importantly, they tell me that we're still friends. And Sakaar extends his hand.
Yeah. Gipkin takes his hand, just gives him a handshake. Yeah, that's what they've been telling me too. That's the problem with being ones who listen. You can't stop listening.
Sometimes it's a question of retention.
I suppose that's true. In any case, I'm currently being told that I'm extremely hungry. Not by spirits, but by biology. So let's just go in and find something.
I'm being told that as well. It's clearly audible.
Mm-hmm. Just so that I know not to say what to say or not say.
Mm.
What do they know about you?
At this point, they know exactly what you've seen.
I see. Well, I'm sure that'll come to light sooner or later, but it doesn't have to be today either.
Agreed. I'm not entirely sure I want to broach that discussion at all.
And maybe you won't have to. And I certainly won't bring it up because I plan to have a mouthful of bread for the rest of the day.
I appreciate that. Given your own reaction, I have to say.
Well, again, everything is everything all at once.
Indeed.
And he walks back into the temple.
Sakaar follows. As close as he can. He has an extremely long stride.
Sure. So meanwhile, back at the temple, everybody has, a bowl full of soup and some bread in front of them. And Green Magnifico is sitting at his chair, but he's got his feet on the seat of the chair and his butt on the back of the chair, and is in the process of telling is very involved in telling a story, which basically comes up to is like, and then, so we're all covered in mud. We can't tell what's happening. I can tell which one Xanthippe is because I can see her flail, but nothing else, right? So I just turn around and there's these two mud things just right in front of me, and I just blast them with fire. I just bake them. Turns out one of those things was Gibkin. And the other one was the thing we were actually trying to get. But Gibkin made it. The other thing didn't. All was forgiven. After basically I gave him my entire cut of what we managed to find. And here we are.
I find if you travel with any group of adventurers long enough, someone's going to set you on fire.
Yeah.
Isn't that just the truth?
I've never been set on fire.
You do the setting.
Mm-hmm.
You do have that. You do tend to have that. There are some who set their party members on fire and some who don't. And from what I can see, you are more of the muscle-based warrior. So I'm guessing you are usually the one that ends up singed.
Yes.
Which is a shame because I love your plumage.
Oh, thank you.
It's a great color.
She, frees herself a little bit and finds some of Randus's nasty goop in her neck and, surreptitiously wipes that away.
Yeah. Sakar and Gibkin walk back in. Neither one of them appears to be wounded.
Well, we are not dead.
Oh, that's good.
Yay?
Generally good.
Oh, Gibkin, tell them what you told me after I set you on fire. I basically baked you into that mud. And Gibkin, looks at everybody and he says, I said, when I get out of here, I'll kill you. Right? Classic.
In your defense, it should be noted that Gibkin actually did, in fact, set me on fire more than once.
Yeah, he does do that. Actually, he hasn't been doing that much recently. And Gibkin just kind of shrugs and was like, well, I've been trying different things. I've really been pushing myself as far as the convergence. Maybe a little too hard. I'm pretty sure I hit a couple of you in that fight.
Maybe a bit.
Just a bit.
Well, I apologize for that. I wouldn't have entered the rage of the whirling doom if I knew that there were going to be other allied combatants in that fight.
Yeah.
Still, it was impressive.
That it was.
Well, I've been trying to perfect it. Hopefully someday I'll actually have full control of it. But I kind of had my back against the wall. It seemed like a good time to lose control.
Understandable.
From a tactical standpoint, I think it might have been successful.
I think you did do more damage to them than you did to us.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. So, Emir looks around and is like, why don't you guys take some time to rest up? And, because we need some as well. Thinking we'll have Green send you to Coldport.
All right. Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, we should probably be rested just in case.
It couldn't hurt.
Yep. We have no idea what we'll be walking into.
Well, I have some idea.
Are we close enough to Coldport that you could contact my sister?
I don't know. I don't even know where we're at, Ket.
Randus?
We can try.
I can tell you exactly where we are.
Okay.
We're 3 blah blah south of the blah, but I don't have the map right in front of me, he said, totally in character and not like
Yeah,
that.
you're basically, after he tells you, you're actually about a day's flight from Basalt.
Well, maybe?
Can't hurt to try.
Well, I got far sending, which is 800 and is Titanius no check, and can deliver messages anywhere regardless of distance or location.
Sounds good to me.
That cost 800. Sending itself is just 50, but then yeah, we have to roll.
Well, if you got something that'll get it there overnight guaranteed, then we might as well go for it.
We'll play the express delivery.
Pay the extra $8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got it.
Handling is free, though.
So, what do we need to say?
Is there a word limit?
Yeah, just like sending.
Okay. What do you want to say, Ket? Tell Randus.
Are you two okay? Or let's start with, I'm back. We're okay. Are you two okay? What happened after we left? Is grandmother there?
You have a grandmother too?
Yeah?
His Eldrin grandmother. Right? I assume that's the one you were asking about.
It's the only one I know.
The best part is your message was 17 words, so it might actually say, wait, you have a grandmother?
Well, Randus is sending it.
Oh, okay. So it definitely says, wait, you have a grandmother.
16, 17 is 25, right?
Yep.
All right. Shall we then?
You want to read it back to us?
All right. As I prepared a ritual, I send a message. This is Randus. We're all back and okay. Are you two okay? What happened after we left? Is grandmother there? What of the salamander's coil?
Okay.
Bloop.
Yeah, that'll work.
Nice.
Okay.
Char's smart enough, she'll figure out what we need.
Sure.
You know, assuming she's still alive and everything.
Do not make that joke.
I know, that was terrible. I apologize. Even for me, that was too far.
Oh, was that in character?
Oh, God, no.
Okay.
Yeah, the sheer amount of fury coming off of Ket if that was in character.
Oh, no. That would be...
It's like,
that would be.
I just diffused a fight with one friend. Let's get into a new fight with another party member.
All right. Randus hears something in his ear. He recognizes it as Charlotte's voice. She says, "Can't talk now, sneaking."
Apparently she's preoccupied right now. Sneaking? She can't
That
really
can mean
talk.
so many things.
God.
Is she
Why
normally
can't
the
our
sneaky
family just
type?
answer one of these?
Yeah, we've been asking that for years.
Good question. Well,
Why can anyone in this family ever give you a straight answer?
Sure.
What? How? I think we should just go there and see.
Yeah.
Yeah. When
First
Sounds
your
like a plan.
parents.
there doesn't seem to be any real urgency there.
There's lots of reasons she could be sneaking. Most of
You
them
guys
not
spend the
too
800?
dangerous.
Oh, yeah, we spent the 800, yeah.
Cool.
Just take it out of the spider guts.
So, yep. I guess we'll rest up and
Leave soon?
get ready to leave
Soon?
soon.
Yeah.
Morning, whatever.
Sounds good.
So, are there rooms or something?
Sure. Follow me.
All right.
And they take you to some rooms.
All right. One for each of us?
Yeah, there's actually lots of rooms in this thing. It's kind of like a little cloister, so there's lots of like small rooms.
Ah.
All right.
Sakara is going to seek out Amiri.
Okay. You find her. She's talking to Green, and He's just like when you walk, after you go put your stuff down and go over to them, Green's just like, you see the face on the blonde one? It's like, leave now. It's like, I mean, I get it. He's got stuff he needs to do, but we feed him, we put you up. It's like, give me a smile. Oh, hey, Zakar.
Hello.
I'm gonna go magic.
You do
and
that.
He literally disappears.
So I see you've replaced me.
Have we? I don't think we could.
I wouldn't be so sure. I saw Xanthippi in action.
Yeah, she does really well. And she's also minor Diamond Thronian royalty, but she's the bad kind. Because she's actually from one of the Hallbearer and Oath houses, so she kind of had to flee.
I thought she looked familiar.
Yeah, you might have seen her there in the background in some function, but it's possible that you didn't. She wasn't really involved in it. Like she went out and she bashed some heads when her lord told her to, and then it turned out they were the bad guys. That's just got to be the worst.
Indeed.
Because she is really good at bashing heads, actually.
Have you heard from Akula?
Nope. He's just gone.
I tried to find her at one point. It was useless. Either way.
Yeah, it's like I said. This mission, this ongoing mission, this eternal mission is very taxing, and you can't expect anybody. I mean, and she fell into it with us. I never expected it to stay. I think she stayed way longer than we thought.
Sure.
Or I think she stayed way longer than any of us expected.
I think she stayed longer than she expected.
Mm-hmm.
I spoke with him. He is Gibkin. So,
right.
At least the weapon stayed sheathed this time.
Well, that's good. I didn't expect that everything would be fixed in one tense, muscly sitting. So, I mean, you guys are good at what you do because you are good at fighting and talking to spirits, and it's the not fighting and talking to each other that's always been the problem. But
the spirits are better at listening.
Well, I've run translation for the two of you for years, and I know what you're both saying, but you guys just can never get around to actually saying it. That's the problem. And I don't think you should worry about it. I think you both know. There's just always stuff in the way.
Indeed. So, what of your move? Do you have any ideas where you might be going?
We don't. Green got a hot tip about an underwater city, so we're going to go check that out. In the meantime, we all have some contacts, so we're going to try to actually split up the lament and go from there, hide it for now and go exploring, maybe take a couple pieces with us.
Agreed. Please keep Mother apprised so that I know.
We'll let her know if we're in the area.
Let her know where you go so that I can find you if I need to.
Okay.
I never intended to leave forever.
I know that. But I don't think I never expected you to stay forever either. You've got too many ties. You've got your order and you've got your family. And now you have these guys.
Mm.
And they need you because they don't have Xanthippe with them to crush anybody's skull, so...
Agreed. And Warden Duthane's negotiation of the world of nobility is... It's admirable. Don't get me wrong.
Everybody has to start somewhere. I'm sure by this time in a couple of years that patchy little goatee will be well manicured and will actually he'll be telling peasants where to go hither and yon or whatever royalty says.
That's actually quite close.
Did you? I thought so. Yeah.
Did you tell Xanthippe I have a beard?
No, I think she just pictured you with a beard.
It is imperative. Never mind.
I know you wouldn't look good with a beard.
It's good to see you again.
It's good to see you too. Next time, let's try to not be in the process of saving the world.
Wait, when have we never been?
I know, that's what I'm saying. Let's try it next time.
I don't even know what that would be like.
Yeah, me neither.
Mm.
In any case, I just spent a lot of time channeling Green's magic to keep that force field up, and it is jittery. It's like my teeth hurt. So I need to get some sleep, but we'll talk tomorrow before you guys leave.
Yes. Thank you.
And she goes off to sleep.
So is it nighttime then I'm taking it?
Not really.
Okay.
It's actually like early evening, but definitely these guys are bushed.
Sure.
And I'm guessing so are you
time.
guys. Yeah. It's like it's getting dark out, but it's actually pretty early. The thing is, like, if Orem goes into his trance, he's gonna be up all night.
Yeah, so I do my trance thing.
Mm-hmm.
Couple of hours have passed. I'm all refreshed.
Mm-hmm.
Prep my spells.
Yeah.
And leave my little tiny room.
Okay.
Walk down some hallways.
All right.
I'm a little nervous about being in this place.
Yeah. You walk down some hallways. You find your way back to the main room pretty easily, and from there's lots of hallways leading lots of places.
No people?
No, but you do hear some noise coming from basically down this hallway and around the corner. It sounds like metal being scraped together.
Okay, I'll follow the sound.
Okay. You find a room and find Xanthippe basically sharpening this like big machete on a one of those big sharpening wheels. I don't know if they have a name.
Whetstone?
Yes.
All right. Hello?
Oh, hey. Orem, right?
Yeah, you're Xanthippe?
That's right.
Oh, okay. I thought everyone had gone to sleep.
Well, we did, but it turns out it's about probably 9 right now, so I could sleep.
Okay. Well, I don't require much sleep, so...
Oh, yeah. I think I'd heard about that.
Yeah.
You guys just, like get into a cocoon or something?
Oh, no, we just meditate. Think happy thoughts. And then we're all refreshed. And so now
happy thoughts.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds great.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I didn't have to sleep. Sleep is boring.
Well, I do hear a lot of things, so I started wandering around. I don't know how often you are attacked here.
Never. This is actually the first time since I've been here.
Oh, okay. How long have you been with the group?
Maybe 2 years now.
Oh, okay. So not very long.
No.
So you arrived after Sakaar already left.
Right. Yeah, I never met him.
Oh, okay.
And neither did Green, I don't think.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Sakaar is an interesting character.
He is. I've heard a lot about him.
Well, unfortunately, I haven't. He has not told us a lot about him.
Oh, yeah? You want to compare notes?
Well, I don't really have that many notes. I know that he had helped Randus at a time when we were all separated from one another, and apparently there appears to be some kind of royal title attached to his name, but...
Yeah. So about that, Randus actually helped to squash a rebellion that the lords of my oath house started.
Oh.
So actually, briefly, this Randus and Sakaar and I were on opposite sides of a war.
Interesting. Did you know each other?
I actually had heard of both of them.
Oh, okay.
They were pretty crazy. I mean, Sakaar was a legend in the worst possible way. Like, you just hear about some keep that got basically... And the general idea was that if it was fire involved, and, there were huge scores in the walls and things like that, probably that Oblia guy was the one who did it. And then on the other side, so those were rumors mostly coming from the west. On the eastern front, you mostly heard about enormous lightning shooting coils and entire battalions teleporting into the center of a battle and things like that. I don't know how truthful any of that stuff was. I never saw it. I basically fought very straightforward, very crunchy battles.
So, because I actually was at Diamond Throne at one point when this was several years ago. It doesn't really matter.
Nice city. I've never been.
Yeah. Why did Sakaar leave? It seems like everyone here was very happy with one another as you were protecting these artifacts.
Well, from what I understand, when the moon crashed, it really threw things out of whack with the spirit world. So I don't know if you know this, but both Sakaar and Gibkin are, like, I think they call them Bright Ones. They're spirit guys.
Oh.
So, proverbially, they had this choice. Either they stayed here and fought off the people that want to grab these items, which will eventually become corrupt, which will eventually become these terrible force of destruction, or they go off and they help heal the world, because apparently all this lunar stuff threw all the spirits out of whack. So
it certainly did.
Gibkin, I'm told, turned his back on his order to stay here and protect the lament, and Sakaar, I'm told, turned his back on his friends to go save the spirits.
So that explains a lot then. Interesting.
Yeah, she's like, definitely, judging from those looks, there's something there. I mean, I think you could, if you dropped a piece of raw meat between that eye line, I'm sure it would chop it in half as it fell.
So this is an island, so there's not unlimited resources here. Do you trade?
When we go back to the mainland, there's things to buy and see and get. This is a fairly large island, and there's actually other small islands. There's game, fruits, we have some gardens around, lots of seafood.
Right.
Lots of natural springs as well, so we do have enough resources.
Okay. I
mean, don't get me wrong, I've had my hair in this braid for 6 months, and I could sure use a good shampoo, but that's not the sort of thing you get around here.
Well, actually, now that you mentioned it, Orem reaches into his handy haversack, pulls out a little capsule. I've had this in my possession for a long, long time. I think you might find it helpful. Hands her a little vial.
Well, thank you. I didn't get you anything.
Oh, don't worry about it.
You want a big sharp machete?
I wouldn't know what to do with it, to be quite honest. And he'd pull out my blade. My blade is good enough for what I need.
I am.
Oh, shh, quiet. I put it back in the sheath.
Yes, that was very strange, but thank you.
Yes. So is there is this like a job that you do all the time, or do you have downtime for relaxation, or I guess what I'm asking is, what do you do for fun here?
Nothing. There's really not much that's fun to do other than hunt if you're into it. I know Green has a lot of hobbies, but they're all magical hobbies, so I don't understand them. Amiri sings and dances and does other things, so we get to have that around, and Gipkin mostly just meditates and talks to trees and rocks and things.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's actually pretty rough being the only non-magical person in a group. There's just not that much to connect to, except, when we meet a normal person and you get to just talk to a normal person, and they kind of can't.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Not without saying random weird things.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, it was certainly nice talking to you. Do you think it's safe to walk around the grounds?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we got all of those guys.
Okay. Then I'll let you get back to your sharpening.
Sure.
And I say goodbye, give her a little bow, turn around, and kind of walk out towards the entrance, looking for a nice spot that might overlook this area that we came up through.
Oh, yeah. It's not hard. Now that you're not running and jumping and fighting, you can actually see a few places. And there's this place right by the temple where you can see the whole island.
Oh, cool. And what is the whole island? I mean, you've already mentioned it's an atoll.
Yep.
What else? Anything of note?
Highly forested, mountainous kind of stuff.
Tropical or what?
No, it's like temperate.
Okay.
There's basically, broadleaf stuff and
conifers.
Conifers. Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm just going to sit here and just take it all in.
Okay.
For the night, I suppose.
Sure. Yes. Orem enjoys the night breeze and really, perhaps for the first time in a long time, some quiet, because it is very quiet out here.
Yes. Very peaceful.
Mm-hmm.
Pull out my sword. Hey, we haven't had a conversation in a while.
Hey, yeah. Did you see that thing I did?
Which time?
In the fight where you were like, "Arr," and I was like, "Arr."
Yes, I did. You have any insight in to what happened when we were going through those different vertices?
Oh, yeah, that was weird.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't been around very long, but I think that basically there's some places that you can chop through to other places.
That seems reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have any knowledge of magical items or artifacts or anything like this?
Not really. I mean, I haven't talked to them, so...
Can you sense them?
Kind of.
Are they saying anything?
Yeah, they're like thinking happy thoughts pretty much.
Really?
Hmm?
You can sense a helmet and other armor and weapons, magical items?
Yeah.
Any other message besides good thoughts?
Oh, I don't want to mess with them. I was listening to that thing and I'm like, is like if corruption is an issue, let's face it, I'm pretty bad.
Well, that is true. Okay, well.
I mean, I'm basically evil.
Well, I know that, but I keep you around anyway.
Well, I really appreciate it. I just want you to know I'm trying to do a good job.
And you did a very good job in that fight.
Oh, thanks.
All right, well, be quiet now.
Okay, bye.
Put him in the sheath.
Okay.
Orm sits there for the remainder of the night.
Okay. Well, eventually it dawns, and slowly more and more adventurers get up and start milling about.
So Ket's probably going to be one of the first ones up and very restless about getting going.
Okay. So it starts to dawn, and Azorim is sitting there in peace and quiet. He hears some loud steps and like probably straps being buckled and buttons being buttoned and staffs being dragged and then picked up and then put over his shoulder and then put back down so that backpack straps can be put up, and so on and so forth.
Sounds like Aranda's.
It's actually Cat.
Hello, Cat.
Hey, Orm.
What are you doing up so early?
I couldn't sleep. I don't know exactly why Charlotte couldn't talk to us yesterday.
She was sneaking, isn't that what you do?
But there's lots of reasons people would sneak.
Maybe she was going to the market. Maybe she was going home. Maybe she was trying to get in before curfew.
Do the math in my head. Okay, curfew might make sense. The other two wouldn't really need to sneak.
Yeah, but we had to sneak in and out of the district all the
She
that
doesn't
time.
leave the district.
Why not?
The rest of you guys can join the scene whenever you want.
Because
Hey, look, I arrived.
someone needs to stay there. Someone needs to run the tavern. Someone needs to stay there for Emil.
Morning, everyone.
Oh, good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, I got a question though. Why were you a cop? Why didn't you run the tavern?
Because I needed to be able to get in and out of there. We were better off
Yeah.
having at least one of us
Is
able
that-
to get in and out.
Was that place just locked down because of the sleeping plague, or had it been locked down before that?
As far as I know, it was just because of the sleeping plague, right?
Yep.
Just because of the sleeping plague.
How long was that going on?
It started shortly before I got there. We got back. Had it been locked down when I got back, or did they lock it down or afterwards?
No, it was already in lockdown by the time you got there.
So
It was already in lockdown before, like months before, because it took you a good long while to get from where you landed to Coldport.
Yeah. So yeah, it was locked down.
And your siblings were stuck there?
Yeah. As were the rest of the people of the district.
How many people are in that district?
I don't know. The census isn't exactly accurate for Coldport. People move in and out of there all the time.
But there's a lot of people. It seemed rather deserted.
At that point, as many people as possible had tried to actually get out of there.
Or died from the sleep sickness.
Or, the sleeping sickness took them.
Okay.
I'm surprised there wasn't rioting. Or was there?
If there was, it was before I got back. There wasn't too much in the way of restlessness by the time I got there. Of course, by the time I got there, the sleeping sickness had done enough damage that any people who would have been restless were resting.
So the rest of Coldport doesn't care what's happening inside the walls? I mean, do they just expect everyone to die?
The way I understand, the city was working on a solution, but sometimes the city doesn't. Sometimes the city looks at the greater good over the good of any given district. And the Twins district wasn't exactly the highest class district.
Classic.
Yeah, offensive.
But how does food come in and out?
People like me, Food's also or Coldport's rather good about self-sustaining districts.
But were you not helping smuggle people out?
When I could. If I could.
And was Lek already in the district when it got locked down, or how did he get into the district to begin with? How did you meet Lek?
There was actually a demon that was causing the sleeping sickness. He helped a spirit causing the sleeping sickness. He helped me take that out of the equation.
But he was already in the district?
Was he already in the district when we met?
Yes. He specifically went to that district to hide. Like he found a plague district and went to hide.
Yeah, he'd come there because of, the mess we're in now.
Yeah, true.
Wait. Define out of the equation for me.
Did we kill it, or?
Oh yeah, you guys mega killed it.
We unfortunately had to kill it before it killed more people.
Was it beyond communication?
As far as I can tell, it was. Though I'm not as well versed in this practice as you are. Yet.
It's always distasteful to destroy a problematic spirit, but sometimes it is the only way.
Considering it was just me and Lek, that was the only one we could find.
A shame that.
Well, looks like everyone is up. There are other things I'd like to talk with you about later, Ket, when other people are not around.
What other people might you be referring to?
You? Her? Him?
That's
that little robot over there.
Seems somewhat counterproductive.
If you want to go tell secrets while they're having secret heart-to-hearts, I'm in Sakar.
Personal stuff that we can deal with later.
Of course.
So where is, turning to Sakar, where is Green?
I don't know. I've never met him before yesterday. Are the others present?
The others are probably inside the temple. Like, you guys just kind of found your way out here when you heard... basically, you guys heard Ket very loudly getting out of his room, and it kind of woke you guys up. So you ended up following him out of here.
Okay.
We can go inside. I'm sure they're all in the gathering point.
All right. As we all kind of walk back in, I kind of pull Ket back a couple of feet and lean in and whisper in his ear, "Have you ever heard of a bright one?"
Have I?
Give me a history check.
Ooh, snap.
I'm reasonable at history. History. Okay.
I remember when this happened.
31.
That's pretty good.
They're druidic. I'm not sure if they are druids or just part of who the druids are. Part of the group that the druids would belong to.
So they're like, it's a title thing, right? It's not like a...
I don't know if it's title or how... I think it's similar to how you, Randus, and I all use a similar type of energy to do our magic, but
okay.
Obviously the three of us use very different magics.
Okay. Interesting. Okay.
I think.
Let's get back to Coldport.
All right.
All right. So you guys walk back in. Yeah. You guys walk back in and find that Green is standing in the center of the temple holding the helmet. Emiri and Xantippe come up and they hand you guys some packets. They hand each of you some. And they're like, I know you're going to a city, but we actually have some issues getting through some of the stuff. So here's some jerky and some dried fruit and some ale.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bow down,
Much
everybody.
appreciated.
So yeah, you guys get all your rations replenished.
Yeah.
All right.
And Green says, well, if you guys are ready.
I believe we are.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Sicard, do you
One
need to
moment,
say
if
goodbye
I
to
may.
anybody?
Yes, please. Sikar once again tries to shake Gibkin's hand, and it's an awkward thing.
Yeah, it is, but he shakes it.
Yeah.
And there's probably some like little too hard kind of like shoulder slapping, like
Mhm.
shake. Oh, this is awkward. Slap shoulder back. Nope, that was still awkward.
Yep, and it gets more so. And all right, turn to Amiri. Start to maybe hug.
Yeah, she
And
hugs
maybe
you.
think about it, then start to maybe hug again. Okay.
Yeah, she just
It turns
goes
into
right
a
for it.
thing. Yeah.
Yep.
I figured as much. Okay.
And
Take care of him.
Oh, I will. And you take care of them.
It's what I do.
She says lets go of him and says, well, it was nice meeting you guys.
It's
Nice
to meet
meeting
you
my
too.
replacements.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, there's
Thank you for your hospitality.
yeah, it's good to see that Sakaar found himself another eclectic group.
Yeah, that's also what I do.
Are there groups that aren't?
She
I've heard
points at
stories,
Cat.
but I don't
She points at Cat and says, "Oh, he's one of those, isn't he?"
Mhm.
Well, that's good. Every group needs one of those. So Green says, all right, so I need you all to stand exactly you here, you here, you here, and you here, and everybody equidistant from me.
Okay.
And then he starts messing with the helmet. And this blue kind of dome of energy appears around him, and it appears right at the edge of where you guys are standing. So basically, there's this dome that he's encased in, and it ends right where you guys are at. And then he keeps messing with it, and you see basically this circle form at the top of the dome, basically this hole, which begins to cover the entire, or eat up the entire dome until it gets to the edge, and it disappears briefly. And then this also blue, but kind of like much more jittery and unstable energy expands out of the edge, the original edge of the dome. Basically, for those of you that are magically inclined, he's kind of essentially forcing that into a separate pattern. But it's pretty obvious, even for those of you who aren't, that he's kind of just like, it's like literally just like pushing down the energy so that it like warps out the sides. And he says, we've only really done this once, but it should be okay. There should only be some brief, and then he's gone. And you guys find yourself in a pretty beat up old warehouse.
Right. Sounds like a great place to end this week's episode. Thank you, everybody, for downloading and listening. And if you have questions, podcast at majorspoilers.com. Want to become a VIP and get access to some behind-the-scenes stuff, that has to do with this episode, then head over to members.majorspoilers.com and sign up today. And until next time, here's hoping all of your dice rolls are critical hits.
This podcast
Studios Network. For more information about this and other shows, visit frogpants.com. Audio program so good, it's like you're there.